Hello everybody, it's the 18th of May today, and I thought it was about time I looked at these Japanese maples that I repotted in spring. The video is there as part of a playlist of about 10 videos now, I believe. And yeah, I was absolutely right, it really was time I did more than had a glance at these trees. This, believe it or not, is an orange dream, and it being one of the first trees I repotted in spring, it went into the back of the shade house, and it has been sat in quite considerable shade, and has also been shaded out, in particular in this section, by other trees growing, and has left it looking a little bit anemic and very green. It's not got any of its orangeness about it, which is one of its chief attributes, I guess you could say. So I'm just going to give this a little bit of a trim, and then I'm going to put it in not a sunny spot, because I think leaving it in a very sunny spot straight away would be a mistake. I think this foliage is too weak. It's got used to being in the shade for too long, and it's likely to scorch. So in a less shady position, shall we say. Well, I'm just going to give it a bit of a trim back, just to try and build some more ramification. I'm not really looking to do too much in the way of shaping, only in so much as trying to create that airy, domed kind of look. I'm not going to touch these branches at all. I'll give you a close-up of that in a minute, so you can see the kind of damage that they've experienced. Sometimes that's the problem. You put things away, you tuck them away in a nice, safe, shady spot. You really do need to keep an eye on them. Let that be a lesson to people. Well, that'll be a lesson to me anyway. Okay, I'm not going to do a huge amount, as I say, to this tree. It needs a little bit of TLC to recover. Okay, here we have a bit of a close-up. You can see that this tree has suffered a little bit. These leaves were completely shaded out by another tree that was tucked in next to it on the sort of recovery bench, and as a result the leaves are very small and very sparse, and some of them have even started to die away. So like I say, I'm going to find it a nice little shady but not too shady spot to recover, and then move it into a sunnier position in a few weeks' time. Okay, so just realised somehow I managed to press the record button twice, so it started and then stopped again after only a few seconds. So missed a little bit, but what I've basically been doing is just same as the other one, trimming back these long growths. This tree again is the Orange Dream 2, or I should be calling it Orange Dream 2 in its own playlist. The first one I'll be calling Orange Dream 1. Again, in the shade house it's stayed very green. It's got a little bit of yellow on it. I just want to remove a few of these leaves that are hanging down and obscuring the trunk. It definitely looks better in the pot for having been moved over slightly, and we're getting a nice dome shape. Hopefully we can get lots of ramification over the next few seasons with it, and having it look lovely. The temptation to do a full leaf prune is strong, but being as it was only repotted this year, I won't be. Next year though, this time of year, middle of May, end of May, I might well leaf prune this tree and do if we can get the leaves to come down in size. I'm hoping now it's out of the shade house, it's going to be on the side in the sun. It'll start to glow its gorgeous orange self. Okay, I don't want to make this video too long, so partway into pruning back this much more vigorous palmaton grown from seed. It was a batch of seedlings that I grew, and this one had the most splendiferous red autumn colours, which is why I chose this one to make into a nice bonsai. If you've been following along, as I said earlier, there is a playlist featuring these trees, and I think there's about 10 videos all told, so you can follow their development from stubs and stumps into, well, something that's vaguely beginning to resemble a tree. This sacrifice branch is in serious danger of getting on my wick, flapping about in my face at the moment, but what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to try and put a little weight on there just to hold it down so that it doesn't take all the energy out of the rest of the tree. I want it to keep growing, obviously, to fatten this trunk. But I don't want it to become dominant so that the rest of the tree dies back. Hopefully this will do the job. It's just a little brass plumbing fixture which, on a piece of wire, bent into a hook, and place that on like so, and that's holding that piece of tree down. Hopefully it won't get in the way too much. Okay, so here's the emerald lace, which has grown really nicely, and obviously enjoyed being in the shade house much more than the others. In fact, this one I think was responsible for shading out that first one. What I'm going to do is again adjust the trim. Not a terribly exciting video for you guys, but hopefully, as I say, as part of the playlist following the tree's development, I could try and root these as cuttings. I'm not going to. I've told myself I need to stop having too many of the same species or the same type of tree. And if I'm going to expand, which I probably didn't ought to, but if I am, and let's face it, I will, they really do need to be something different, something unusual, something I haven't already got. So watch out for some new and unusual and different that I haven't already got, I guess. What is that? Bit of fluff, an old feather perhaps. Okay, so it's just a trimmage this time, just bringing the tree back in bounds. It'll hopefully back bud and start building me a nicer crown. At the moment it's a little bit flat, but that's okay. This branch here, well, I'm going to leave it. I've got some really interesting movement in this trunk now that I've stood it up straighter from what it was before. If you watched that last video, it's got some interesting movement back and forward as well as side to side, so that's quite nice. We shall see. Maybe do some more shaping of what we get come winter. Okay, so a quick 360 of that. There's a piece I missed. There's always a piece you miss, Sid. Again, there are some shoots which haven't elongated out past the sort of perimeter dome of the canopy I'm trying to create. So as they poke their little heads out, they'll get chopped. But this will be the last time I show the tree this year, I would think. There will be updates autumn, winter, so maybe tail end of 2022, but most likely 2023, when this will be in its own playlist, which I'll obviously name Emerald Lace. I think this tree ably demonstrates the difference between a tree that's stayed outside on the bench getting full light all the season because it wasn't repotted. This is obviously a little orange stream that I showed last time as well. And you can see obviously this side is much oranger than that side, so it needs to be turned to face the sun again, which I haven't done recently. But the same dearly, it's had a little trim, and it's definitely oranger than the other two orange streams, but they should catch up as the season progresses, and now that they're out of the shade house. Okay, this will be the very last one in this group. This again is a little tree grown from that same batch of seedlings, plain palmatum. It's obviously had a much harder chopping and kept smaller, grown smaller, and interestingly the trunk at the base is not much thinner than the other one, even though it's been kept smaller and kept in this smaller pot. So, but it's nice to know that you can begin to achieve something that looks halfway respectable in just 4 or 5 years or so. That's about it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, it really is appreciated. Do the usual YouTube things, the liking, the subscribing, the commenting. Let me know what you think. Am I right about those orange streams 1 and 2? Is it the lack of sun that's made them go so anemic looking? I'm sure it is. Any clues on how I can get them looking bright and orange again? Much appreciated. Most of all though, please, 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 stay safe everybody.